Hello, and hope you're having a really good day or morning or whenever you're watching this video. And I want to say thank you to all of you who were patient with me last week. I was out of town doing some family stuff. If you haven't seen those pictures, please go to my regular profile, Tracy Brown, dark hair, red shirt, whatever. And you can see some of the winter festivities I was involved in. And if you relate to some of those things or have memories of some of that, I would love to hear about that. So anyway, today's video and this week's video, the theme is going to be about basically every single thought, every single action that's related to non-attunement to our body's needs, and also a looping with, feeling like I'm adult. I know that it shouldn't matter really what people think about my body, and I get that intellectually, but man, there is just this part inside my bones that I feel like I can't shake. There's something in me that feels like if I just accept myself, it almost feels like it's not an option. If it's feeling that loud and strong for you, we know we're working with some more deeper internal discomforts than maybe we thought the dieting was really about. And so this week's videos are going to be about just exploring this topic to bring some compassion to your life and to your experience and what you're working through. And so you can also know that this isn't just simply like read a book or, stop dieting for a couple weeks and then expect to feel comfortable. It's not quite that way. So again, thank you everybody who's watching live. Thank you so much for being here. And to all of those who are watching the replay, thank you as well. You know that if you ever have any questions, comments, concerns, you can tag me or message me and I'll be happy to help. So what I want to do with today's video and throughout the rest of the week, make sure you're here on Tracy Brown RD, looking at the prompts I'm going to put out every day, as well as the videos on Wednesday and Friday. And just know this is going to build on each other. So this is a series. So if you're watching Monday's video, and it's a Thursday, or it's Thursday and you're watching Wednesday's video, go back to today's video, Monday. So you can make sure you can follow the sequence. All right, well, let's jump in and get started. What I want to say about the uncomfortable. I was thinking, as I'm traveling and seeing people talk about food and the way people talk about food, and I would always take a step back to be curious, just even to observe a little bit, not to be analyzing everybody, but just to notice, and this is outside of my daily work, with people and their very, very conscious struggles, and sometimes more unconscious stuff comes up as we go deeper, but just, people that I don't know really all their stories and histories. There's this one thing that's missing for people who seem pretty oblivious to the fact that going on a diet isn't going to fix all your problems. And, but there's still this feeling that it's so much easier to blame the body for whatever feels uncomfortable, and it's not named, and they haven't named it yet. So I was just noticing this past week, there's just this need, and this is all by conditioning, by the way. So it's not really anybody's fault per se, but it is obviously our responsibility to recognize it probably impacts my life, and can I be curious about that? But anyway, all attempts, I just believe this, that all attempts to diet, to restrict, to calorie count, to over-exercise, to avoid exercise, not really quite knowing what we want to eat and just eating whatever because we're scared not to, it's almost like it's the doorway into what am I trying to get relief from or about? And so that's your prompt for today, is be really curious if you are wanting to go back to dieting, especially this time of year when there's just, again, we talked about this last week, there's more expectation, there's more stuff. Even if you're not really big into holiday stuff and don't really celebrate or don't celebrate much at all, it's just in the air that there is more. And just notice if that feels like a thing for you in your system around uncomfortable or around needing relief. Because I think that's what all attempts to change our bodies and obsession about bodies is all about. It's just a need for relief. and it becomes a management tool. And we often start these tools when we're in periods of time where there's this conflict, between like I want to be myself, but I still want to fit in. And I think whether that happens in adolescence, in family transitions, and joining new families, leaving families, changes in the body state, so pregnancy, menopause, all those things, those are transition periods, and a lot of times that's where I see things happen. Are really big exacerbations in like the struggle around food and weight. And so what's going to happen as you recognize, like, that happened a long time ago, and I recognize that's not the way to be in this situation. This is not going to help it. That's why it's so hard when you start to try to let yourself be in your body. It's like that need for that relief, whenever that was from, is going to come to the surface and feel really disorganizing. And it's important to have compassion. So your prompts for today are to recognize when you do something different, you're going to have things arise. And that needs a lot of compassion. Because the desire to restrict, binge, purge, overexercise, count, obsess, body check, mirror check, whatever, is always a need for some kind of relief that we're mislabeling as a body problem. And 2 is basically recognize that whenever we do want to do these things, our next step is to, okay, what do I need relief from? And if you can get even just a tiny bit of clarity around that, you're well on your way, and that's going to just continue to snowball. So I know this is a little bit deeper topic, but I'm just really passionate and dedicated to you all having, be on the right track and having the right information, because it's not just as simple as like, eat from hunger and fullness, and, having your Instagram full of people that look like you. I think that's super important, and we all should be doing that. And having varied images of what reality really is versus these really weird, distorted ones of like, there's only one right bite size. That all should be done. But even people who do all of that, and like, they're always telling me, what's missing? There's something missing, Tracy. And this is the missing work. So I want to make sure you know about it and you have it. Alrighty. Well, thank you all so much for watching live. And if you're just joining now, please, hopefully you go back and watch the beginning. And I would love to hear your thoughts and comments. If you know someone who could benefit from this video, please share it, because people need to know that it's not a body problem, and this desperate need to want people to celebrate weight loss with you, or if it was, it's funny, I'm going to talk about this Wednesday, but if weight loss was really about just ourselves, we wouldn't constantly be talking about it. I mean, it's one of those things that I can't tell you how many people I lost whatever for something minor, is not minor, but I get a bad sickness, at least I lost, XYZ pounds from it. Or, I might see them, I haven't seen them in a long time. It's like, hey, check out my, my weight loss on my app here. I'm like, there's this there's definitely a disconnect there of wanting to connect, let's say with you or me or someone else through this. I'm doing that through this app. I don't need to know what's going on with your body size to want to be connected to you. But that's not the language that most people know. And really, it's a relief of connect with me. I think that's what I need to do to get you to connect with me. And that tells me, oof, there's something missing. There's something missing there for them that feels like this is what they need to do to feel safe and connect to me. And so I want you all to be people who know how to connect and feel safe to connect. All right, well, thank you all so much, because if you can do that with yourself, other people, you're certainly going to do it with food. And I say let's learn how to do it with food first, so that we have a good foundation, good practice for the rest. All right, well, thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye for now.